Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to my 61st Flosstube episode. If you are new here, welcome. This is a channel that's mostly about cross stitch. However, I do share my other hobbies here when I've worked on them. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and spending time with me today. I appreciate all of you even more than you know. Today is Saturday. It is May the 3rd, I believe, and it is a muggy day here in Maryland. We have maybe like a week's worth of rain coming, and I think it's going to start later this afternoon with maybe some thunderstorms, and the humidity is high, and it is gross. It's my least favorite kind of weather, hot and humid. Also, the pollen is everywhere. I know that I mentioned maybe in my last video that my allergies were acting up, and they are far worse now than they were, so excuse me if there's a little tickle in my throat or some sniffling. I'll do my best to not have that in the video. What else? I hope everybody had a great April. Mine was busy. I did have some time off in April for my spring break from work. I took 10 days off total, which was great. And I was very busy during that time, but I did find a little bit of time to relax and do some stitching too, so that was good. What else? I don't know. I swear as soon as I turn this camera on, it's like everything that I've done for the past month is like zoomed out of my head. But I know that there's going to be little bits and pieces about what was going on included in today's video, and I do have a lot to share with you today. So I guess we should probably get into that here shortly. Just real quick, Quentin's doing well. He's at work right now. Aaron is upstairs. And he's doing great. Cora is under the table. The cats are everywhere. I sat down to start filming and Tarzan was acting wild. So I went and played with him for a little bit. Maybe tired him out, hopefully. Yeah, so we're just all hanging in there and doing the best that we can. But like I said, I've got a lot to share with you today. I have one fully finished object, an FFO, that is not here, but I will share with you. I've got finishes. I have a new start that was also a finish. I have my winners of my giveaway from my last video. I have some stitchy kindness. I have a little bit of things that I went and purchased or that came in the mail. Yeah, so I'm sure the other things will come up as we go, and I think we should probably go ahead and get started. Alright, we had not one but two labs just walk by, so Cora got very upset, and now she's upstairs with her dad, hopefully having a little nap. She's a little cranky this morning. Also, I did realize that the fan was on, and I know that sometimes the microphone on this camera will pick up that sound, so if there's a little extra background noise in the beginning clip, I do apologize. I turned the fan off, and now we can just enjoy all the regular background noise. So anyways, here is my book of days, and in the month of April, I had one new start, which I also finished. And I had 6 total finishes, one of which you would have seen in my last video if you watched that one, and that was the Dame's boarding school. So I've got 5 more finishes to share with you today. I have been working a lot on my order whips so far this year. I came into the year with 52 works in progress, and so far I have finished 11 of them, and that feels really great. I feel like last year I did not finish very many of my whips, so that's what went on in April. And the first project I have to share with you I don't actually have here. Every year my monthly needlework group, the Threaded Friends Society, has a little smalls exchange, and this is what I stitched for that. This project is called Wren, Folk Art Birds #1, designed by Kathy and Jean for the Victoria Sampler. It looks like this. This is really cute. I'm assuming this must be a series. If this is #1, I would love to maybe try to find some more from this series. This came out in 2004. And this particular project calls for a lot of blended gentle arts threads, like maple syrup and sarsaparilla together, or maple syrup and mulberry together. And I did not want to do that, so I did pull colors from my stash that were in keeping with the model photo. So Those are the colors that I used. I stitched this on a piece of 32 count fieldstone by Color and Cotton, and I did film a little video showing you my fully finished. I made this into a flat fold, and I'm going to insert that here. Hi friends. I don't believe that I shared that I was doing some secret stitching last month in my last video. Every year, the needlework group that I'm a part of, the Threaded Wren Society, has a Friendship Smalls exchange, and this is what I made for this year's exchange. When I saw this little pattern by the Victoria Sampler, this pattern has seen better days for sure. I definitely bought it secondhand. But when I saw this pattern wren, I knew that it would be perfect for our smalls exchange this year. So I did end up subbing out mostly my own colors, but did keep it in the same vein as the original. I stitched it on a piece of 32 count fieldstone by Color and Cotton, and I turned it into this cute little flat fold. So here, I'll show you. Here's my stitching, and here's the back fabric. See here, I made a little cording to go around the top, and I had a little some vintage lace that I used for the bottom. I did use Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorial from the Twisted Stitcher. I will link that below. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've only made a few flat folds ever, and I forgot how much fun and how relatively quick and easy they are. I also made this little tomato and strawberry to include in my gift. So, just wanted to make a little extra. I'm a little extra, so I like to do something extra for my friends. But, alright, little wren. Wasn't that cute? I forgot how much fun it was to make a flat fold, and it makes me want to pull out more of my projects and finish them that way. I have a couple things that I'm in the process of fully finishing right now. My friend Ethel inspired me to make two trips to Joann to get a couple things, which I'll share with you in a little bit. And while I was there perusing, I was on my lunch break, and so I was like speed going through that store. But I did find a couple of things to use for some fully finishes, and I've got on the table over there some things I'm working on. Hopefully by my next video I will have some more to share with you. Alright. So what else did I work on in the month of April? This first project I shared with you in my last video. I believe I said that I wasn't sure if I was going to continue working on it and try to get it done, or if I was kind of over it and ready to put it away. I did ultimately decide to just keep on keeping on and get this one done. This is Cats on Parade by Blackbird Design, which looks like this. This pattern does suggest that you stitch this star for the top if you're going to make it into a drum, and I did not do that. I do think I will finish it into a drum, but I was not going to stitch that star. So this project lived in this pretty black cat bag. I stitched it on a piece of 32 count Lugana by Ship's Manor. This was a fabric of the month from June many years ago. And I stitched it with one strand of DMC 3371 and one strand of Sulky 713. So they're pretty close in color, but not quite the same. To get a nice full coverage, and here's my finish. I am so happy to be done with this. This project, the amount of stitching in this project kind of surprised me because it's not very big, but these cats are dense, and also that fence at the bottom, that was a lot of stitching down there. So here it is. You can see the coverage is great with the one strand of Sulky and the one strand of DMC. That's definitely something I will do again. I can't remember if I'm doing that on another project right now or not, but I will do it again in the future. And like I said, I would like to finish this into the drum at some point. So there we go. The next project I have to share with you is another older whip that I was able to get done. This is Nora Corbett's Lady Orchid Moth. Just like this. This project I have historically stitched on in like February-ish because that's when my orchid normally blooms, and I like to stitch on this while the orchid is blooming, but this year it did not bloom, and I don't know why. I don't know anything about orchids. I just know that this orchid blooms every year and loses a leaf and gains a leaf, and that's all I know about it. But this year it did not, and I was like thinking that it was going to, but it looks like it put out 2 aerial roots. I don't know, maybe next year. Anyways, this is the project. This project lived in this little Maryland bag set that I made, and you will see this fabric again a little bit later. I used all of the called for DMC as well as the called for Mill Hill beads. Lots of pretty springtime pinks in there. And I stitched it on a piece of 28 count Zweigart Toulouse Even Weave by XG Design in the color Green Apple. I last worked on this in December, and this only took a few days of stitching to finish up. I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't just finish it back then. But anyways, here she is. As always, this camera does wash out my fabrics. This is a much greener green in real life, but I'll bring her in so you can see. I did stitch her skin over too, as called for, and there she is. I'm still not super happy with how that arm turned out, but I think ultimately nobody will care. Yeah. There she is, all done. She's really pretty. Much, like I said, much more vibrant in real life. But there you go. This next project that I have to share with you, I hope to have it as a finish, maybe in my next video, maybe in 2 videos from now, but we are definitely getting close. This is my second oldest work in progress, I believe. This is the Moon Phase Bell Pull by Tiny Modernist, which looks like this. I started it in 2021, and it took me all this time to gain some traction on it until earlier this year. Jen from Jen's Fiberweb and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe decided to make this like a monthly full moon stitch along, and they invited me to join in with them. And also now Amy from Amy Loves Toads has also joined us as well. Amy is stitching it like sideways like this, and I believe she's leaving out the trees, which is genius, and I wish I had thought of that all those years ago. But alas, here we are, finally in the home stretch. This project lives in this Quilting with Nico bag that I love. This might be some of my favorite fabric ever. It only calls for 4 colors of DMC, one of which I am missing. I think I'm just missing the blanc, so just a couple colors there. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Timberwolf by Seraphim Fabrics. And here's where I got to this month. So this month when I picked it up on the full moon, I brought my trees up and I finished those, which felt like a big accomplishment, and I also started on this phase here. So I've got this one and this one are mirrored down at the bottom, and lots of little doodads all around, little stars all around. I know Stephanie was talking about maybe replacing hers with beads, and I think that's going to be really pretty. But yeah, so I don't know. What do we think? 2 more stitching sessions, get this done finally? I hope so. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, this next project is the Court of Crows Stitch Along by Fine Frog Stitchery. Fine Frog Stitching? If that's wrong, I'll have it down here. This was a stitch along that I started and had very little done on, and actually used a lot of my stitching time during my spring break to get caught back up on. I have a few other stitch alongs that I am very behind on, as in they have finished and I am not, and I did not want this to be another one of those. So I knew that if I didn't like spend the dedicated time to get caught back up, that who knows if I would ever finish this project. So I don't have a Sorry about that. A very loud train went by. I feel like when you live close to trains, you probably don't hear them very often, and so for that to like shock me was unusually loud. Anyways, I was saying that I do not have a cover photo for this, and there isn't really one that has all the parts that are out, but I'm pretty close to all of those parts that are out, so you'll see mine instead. This is living in this black cat bag, which is just riddled with Tarzan's hair. He is the most shitty cat I've ever had. I'm stitching this on the called for Witch's Garden Crafts Ada in the color Call Call, using all of the called for DMCs as well. And I'm currently only one clue behind, and that one came out this week. So, here's where I'm at. Again, it's such a shame about these colors because this is a beautiful, beautiful purpley pink fabric. But yeah, so since the last time I worked on it, I did all of the frames. I did this banner, I did this torch, which that's what I'm missing on this side, that's the last part that came out. I did this jester and this court advisor. So it looks like she kind of breaks it up, so one release will be something small like this, and then the next release will be something big like this, and so she's kind of alternating how things are coming out, so they're not all giant, which is great. But this is cute. I'm wondering if maybe this is something I could give to my nephew when it's all done. So I'll probably work on that this weekend. Alright, the next thing that I have to share with you is, I believe, my favorite project. Right, another train. I don't know what is going on today. Anyways, my next project, I believe, is my, well, I don't believe, I know, is my very favorite project because I believe this is going to be one of the most beautiful things that I have ever stitched. This is Smoky Mountain Stitches and Woodall 1847. She looks like this. I love this project. She's big, as you will see. She lives in this project bag. I'm stitching her on a piece of 28 count permalinen in the color Smoke, and I'm using some of the called for DMC, some that I have changed to make it look more like the cover photo. This was charted in DMC Anchor and Au Versoir. I believe that the model was stitched in the Au Versoir, so the colors didn't all translate, but I did pick some colors there. This chart is a little difficult for me to read, so I do take pictures of it and put it into GoodNotes so that I can blow it up, and that has been very helpful. I just finished page 4. And here's where she is. I believe she's just so stunning. I'm so proud of how this is turning out. And I love that she's going to be giant. So I'll bring you in a little bit. She's got these big, beautiful, I want to say these are peonies, and these blue tulip flowers. And this is, sorry, I can't see. This is the section that I worked on this time. And if you can see right here, those are the very first stitches of that little tiny deer foot. I was so excited to get those stitches in here. I'll show you on the chart. Those little stitches right there. That's going to be a lot of white stitching, but that's okay. She's going to be worth it. I was so excited to get those stitches in that I had to take a picture and text it to Leah Noel, because she's also stitching this, so she knows, like, man, that's a lot of stitching to get down to there. Yeah. But she's big and beautiful, and I love her so much, and I really was on the fence again about this one to keep going. I would not be able to work on this until it was done. There's still too much. There's the other flower border to bring down, that giant white deer, and then at the bottom of this chart, all of the grass, oh, there's a tree. This is all done in long satin stitch, which I can do satin stitch. I'm not intimidated by satin stitch, but I'm intimidated by making it look as nice as I want it to look, if that makes sense. But yeah, there she is. Oh gosh, she's just so I love her. So I did not keep going. That way I'm still excited when I pull her out next time, which I think is important. Alright, the next project I have to share with you was my only new start for the month, and like I said, this was a start and a finish. This pattern is from Dee's 20 Stitches Stitch for Pride 2025, and this was the April chart. In the stitch along you do get learning materials, and then you do your stitching after you do your learning, and I've got it pulled up on my phone right here. So the historical figure that we were stitching about and learning about this month was Ozuwindib, and it says here that they were a chief of the Leech Lake Ojibwe, and they lived between the 1700s and mid-1800s, and her skills as a guide were sought by settler government agencies to locate the source of the Mississippi River. This was another historical figure that I had never heard of, and learning about them was very, very interesting. So I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed this stitch as well. This project lives in this little elephant bag, and I'm stitching these all. You can stitch them as a one spot sampler or all individually, and I'm doing them individually. I'd like to finish them as pillows when they're all done. So this one I stitched on a piece of 36 count summer khaki using this Miss Seda silk, which is really beautiful color. And here's my finish. This one again was a lot of fun. I do these often on my lunch break stitching, so I kind of set up my phone and on my steering wheel, and I play the learning, or listen to the learning, and I do my stitching then. So I really like how this one turned out. I love the colors. This one has a little bit of satin stitch and some French knots in it, and I do love some French knots, so this was great. I loved this one. I'm thinking, so this is April, so May and June, I might do those on two different fabrics and then try to take the last half and like fill in on the other fabric so I get two out of each piece of fabric that I have done so far. At least that's my plan for right now. This next project is another finish of a whip that I started last spring. I do want to ask a little bit of advice about this one. This pattern is by Stitches Through the Years, and it's called It's Peony Season. This is beautiful and so sweet. We have several peony bushes here. They were here when we moved in, and I look forward to them blooming every year. It's one of my favorite flowers that come up. So I was definitely into this. I did decide just to stitch the teapot here with the flowers coming out of it. My mom collected teapots, and I have a lot of teapots that were hers, and this made me think of her. So this project lived in this springtime doggy bag. How cute is that? And I did use all of the called for colors, which are much more muted, as you can see here, than the cover photo. So these are the called for colors, with the exception of the DMCs. I'm not sure why they weren't with everything else, but like here you can see what the picture looks like, and then these are the flosses. And that's okay. I think this is pretty and muted. I stitched this on a piece of 32 count biscotti by Color and Cotton, and here's my little finish. Isn't that sweet? I think that's absolutely adorable. My question is, do you think I should put something right here? Like some other little element? The butterflies, I think, were charted. I did pull this heart from another part, but do you think that looks like funny right there? Because I don't want it to look too much, but I don't know. I can't decide. Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, it looks like super antique to me, and I think it's just really soft and beautiful. So love that. Let's see. This next project it was supposed to be my lunchtime stitching for this week, but my week was a little different. I worked on Monday, I was off on Tuesday. I had doctor's appointments and a lot of stuff going on that day, and then Wednesday and Thursday at lunch I went to Joanne. And then, so last night I thought that I would have time to work on it because I'm attending the Spring Mingle this weekend. However, my webcam on my laptop stopped working, and I ended up spending hours with Microsoft in my computer trying to get it to work. They were unable to fix the problem. That's okay. I'm going to reset and try to attend some of the Spring Mingle stitching tables later tonight. Hopefully. So this project ultimately did not get the amount of attention that I thought it was going to get, and I think I might just put it away until October. It is Tricky Treat Cats, designed by Holly Gordon, I guess for Imaginating, and it looks like this. I started this last year in October. Also, when I pulled it out, I realized I was missing the color of this cat's head, and it's $9.70? Yes, and I don't have a single thread of $9.70 in this house somehow, so that's alright. It was in this cute bag that I made. Love this bag. Here are most of the called for DMCs. Now these are bright. And here's where I got to. My hoop left a little mark on that fabric there. But this is all DMC, so I can wash it. This is, I believe, just a 22 count white Ada. And it's much bigger, obviously, because we got to fit that other cat on there. But I was able to outline this whole cat and start filling it in. I added in this little jack-o'-lantern. I outlined and started this jack-o'-lantern. I got the cat's face in, which is looking a little weird, but that's okay. And I did realize, this also has a lot of cat hair on it, but I did realize that I started stitching this cat with two over one, I guess. But I did not continue doing that because that was a little bit miserable. So I don't think that anybody is going to be able to really tell that some of that cat is 1 over 1 and the other is 2 over 1. So I'm thinking that'll probably go away until October. The next project that I have worked on is The Promise Kept by the Cricket Collection. I love this. This is one of my very, very favorite projects that I have. I started this last year, and this is a terrible washed out picture. I had this in my stash for many years, and I was always hesitant to start it just because of the amount of DMC that it calls for. Like, look at that list. I'll show you in a minute. And I definitely have projects that have more than that, but I don't know, for some reason this one intimidated me, which is silly. This lives in my little mousy bag that I made. Here is the ring of DMC. A lot of colors. The section I'm working in now is all in 500s, which is really pretty. But a lot of DMC. I'm stitching this on a piece of Pretty Count Mystic Owl by Color and Cotton. And here's where I'm at. So I'm working on the snowdrop here. I brought this bottom border down, I did the bulb, and I'm bringing up. There, maybe you can see that a little better. I'm bringing up the stems and starting to work on the leaves. Love this. It's so dainty and pretty. And the last project I have to share with you was one that I hadn't initially thought that I was going to be pulling out this month, but I found myself, so let me back up 1 second. After I film my videos, I have been going through my WIPs and pulling out what I plan on working on for the next month, and I think that that's really keeping me motivated to work on my existing works in progress. And so this was not one that I had pulled out to work on in April, but I had kind of worked my way through everything that I had intended to, so I decided to pull this out and give it a little extra attention. This pattern is called Captcha by the Retro Stitcher. Here's a picture. I started this earlier this year. It was in this funky black cat bag. I'm using all the Cult for DMC. Which are some fun colors here. And I'm stitching it on a piece of 18 count black Aida. And here's where I'm at. Let me put something behind it. And here's where I'm at. So previously I had already finished this here. This part here, which I think looks amazing. That is really, really good. I cannot wait to have him done. So I started up here and then right there. So I'm closing in on a page finished, so I might go ahead and finish this page and then put it back away for a little while. So, alright, that is everything that I worked on in the month of April, and I'm going to reset real quick and then we will go ahead and we'll do the giveaway winners from my last video, and then we'll talk about some stitchy kindness and maybe some future giveaways and the things that I've purchased. So I'll be right back. Alright, so in my last video I have 4 giveaways, and the first one was to help encourage people to buy pinwheels. I'm sure everybody is familiar with Emily C. of the Eclectic Possessions and her Advocates for Children fundraiser this year. You can adopt pinwheels and be entered to win a raffle. There's tons of amazing prizes that she has for this, and you're helping kids, so that's all great stuff. But I was giving away this Kathy Barrick Caught in the Swirl pattern because I thought it was giving pinwheel vibes. Also, I did look as I was getting set up here, and they're at $12,000 raised of a $15,000 goal. So this goes on until May the 17th. I think we can get her there. Everything will be linked below. Anyways, I was giving away this pattern here, and the winner is Chris Cross Stitcher 2593. So congratulations, Christine. I think we're friends on all the platforms, so just shoot me a message wherever and with your address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. Congratulations. The next giveaway that I had, let's see if we'll do this one next. This is my Grateful Dead bag. This includes a pattern with the DMC and a couple other little goodies. There's a needle minder and a sticker in there. And this project goes to Bigfoot, that's F-O-O-T-E 84. So congratulations. I know that we're not like commenting on comments to alert our giveaway winners anymore because of bots and whatnot, but my email is listed below, as is my Instagram, so you can reach out to me at any of those places. I will also tag the winners down below. I don't know that it'll give you a notification maybe through your YouTube app. I'm not positive, but just get a hold of me some way and I'll get that in the mail to you. The next giveaway that I have here was for this project bag, and inside of it are all 12 of the From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy monthly Quakers, along with DMC if it was available. And the winner of this bag and this giveaway is Jennifer Brandt 1802. So congratulations, and get a hold of me please. And my last giveaway that I had from my last video was for this sweet little Poe bag, full of tons of notions and goodies in here for you to enjoy. And the winner of this one, I'm so excited, is Shenandoah Valley Stitcher, my sweet friend and fellow Poe lover. So congratulations, friend. I think I have your address somewhere back in our messages, so yay! That was so much fun, and here in just a minute I will talk about some future giveaways. Congratulations to all of the winners, and thank you everybody for your wonderful comments. You guys always make my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to share with you is just a little bit of stitchy kindness that came my way, and some that will be going your way as well. The first thing I have to share here is a lovely woman named Alice reached out to me, and she knows of my love of the Grateful Dead, and she was doing a little downsizing, and she had this sweet little Garcia bear in her collection, and she asked if it could come and live with me, and I of course said yes. I believe many of us millennials have a certain nostalgia for a Beanie Baby. They were huge. And this little Garcia bear now lives up in my craft room with me. So thank you again, Alice. She wrote me a very sweet card, and I'm glad that he came to stay with me. Alright, like I said earlier, we did the Smalls Exchange in my needlework group, and only 2 of us actually participated this year. So me and my friend Mickey, and it was like we made them for each other, I swear. It was like, I feel like she knew I was going to get her package. So this is what she stitched, which this has been in my Etsy cart forever, and I cannot believe that I had not pulled the trigger on purchasing it. And now I don't have to because she made it for me. I'm going to put it up here on my Chesapeake Bay wall. I've got like there's like a hand that comes out that things sit in, so this is going to sit up there so I can enjoy it all the time. And she also included this project bag. I believe I first saw this fabric. I guess, Mickey, did you have a bag already made? I can't remember how this fabric came up, but she had some, I think, and I was obsessed with it, and she was able to hunt some down for me and left me some here at my house, and that's how I was able to make my bags. And now, look at that. Perfect. I love it so, so much. So I'm excited to get a new little project in there. My friend Anne also gave me her copy of Painted Wings by Kathy Barrick. Anne and I have been stitching this together. She finished hers. I was using a digital pattern that I was having a hard time with, so she did give this one to me to make it a little easier. Maybe I can get a little more progress on that project. And then my sweet friend Ethel, who again I will show you in a little bit what she enabled me to get. She brought me a little bag full of some goodies for all of you. Well, first she brought the sticker book for me, so I will keep that. But she knew I was doing a giveaway in my last video, and so she offered to give me some patterns to do future giveaways with. And not only did she give me patterns, some of them she like kitted up with some finishing materials, so I'll show you what they all are. And I wasn't going to do a giveaway in this video, but I think I'm going to do one because why not? So the first one she gave me was Acorn. Cute as that squirrel, and she included the DMC and some finishing materials. She gave me Freezy, which looks like this, and he's sweet. Again, with the tart tin, DMC, and some linen in there as well. That's so generous. Ethel's amazing. This is the October 31st pin keep. Looks like this. Love it. Pretty sure I have this one in my collection. With the finishing. The Threads of Time sewing bird. Looks like this. One of my favorites of her designs. Some DMC in there. And then also she included Black Cat Moon, which I have stitched. And she included some linen and a tart tin. So we will do many giveaways with these in the future, and I think that today we're going to go ahead and give away the Threads of Time sewing bird. Beautiful. Again, that comes with 2 of the colors of DMC, and I think if you would like to enter this giveaway. Hi friends, so standard giveaway rules apply here. Please be 18 years old so that you can give me your address. Please do not say giveaway or anything similar to giveaway in the comments, and I do need to keep this particular giveaway to US only, please. Thank you all. Tell me your favorite bird, if you have one. Or if you don't like birds, tell me that too. So awesome. Thank you so much, Ethel. Your kindness is amazing. I appreciate you so much. Alright, last but certainly not least are the things that I purchased this month, and I'm going to go ahead and start with my fabric clubs. I'm in 2. I am currently in 1 through my LNS Needlecraft Corner. They offered this year a Picture This Plus Blackbird Designs fabric club, so it's Picture This Plus fabrics that are often called for in Blackbird's Designs patterns. And this month I got a 36 count piece of Ancient, which I like squealed about because I love Ancient. I like to stitch blue samplers, and Ancient is the perfect color for them with those splotches of blue. So love that. My other fabric club that I've been in forever is Color and Cotton. And this month I got a piece of 36 count coconut, which, beautiful. I said earlier that Ethel had enabled me to make a trip to my local Joann's. As you know, Joann is going out of business. And I thought that I had made my final trip in, however, I did not, because she told me that they currently had the DMC wools, the Eco Vita, there in multiple colors, and I had to go and get some. So I went and got one, maybe a couple of duplicates, but mostly like one of each color to try. I love stitching in wool. I've got that project I shared last time, Heartstring Samplery, I believe, that calls for wool, and I'm hoping that I can use some of these in that. So I went and got those, and then she she was like, well, what about those DMC hoops? And I was like, girl, why'd you tell me about that? So she went and got one of these DMC square hoops, and I had to go back and get some too. I think these would make a really cool, this would be really cool for finishing. I can see like a little sampler in here. How cute would that be? Maybe stain it. I got 2 of them. So stain it and use it to finish like a little sampler. I think that would be adorable. I got a couple other things while I was there. Like I said, I got some pieces for finishing. They also had a portable light. Oh, I have it actually right here. That was, I thought, a really good price, a little rechargeable light, so I picked that up as well. While I was on my spring break, I had plans to see my friend Anne. We were going to go and get some lunch, and then she texted me and she was like, why are we going to get lunch when we could go up to Lancaster instead and do some shopping? I was like, Anne, you're so smart. So we made 2 stops while we were in Lancaster. We first went to a craft thrift store. I think it's called the Lancaster Creative Reuse. If that's incorrect, I'll put it right here. But like I said, it's a craft thrift store, and it is giant. That was so much fun to dig through. They had all kinds of crafts in there. And they did have a pretty big section of cross-stitch charts, and they had a ton of kits. And they had fabrics, like a lot of Adas. I got some finishing fabrics, so like for making pillows for my ornaments, for my coworkers. I got fabric for that. I got some panels that I thought would make some really cool project bags. I got this. It's one of those. This is like a. Is it for knitting? I don't know. It's it opens up here. There's projects in it. This sits next to my stitchy spot. I needed something to go there. The basket that I had there was not working, so that was an awesome find. I love that. And I did get one, just one cross stitch pattern there. They had bookshelves of vintage patterns. I could have kept looking and looking for sure, but I got this one, and it's called Love Those Country Miniatures. I love this, like, old time style. I do have a kit of this. Maybe I should pull out, but I love these little minis, so I got that. And then after that we went to lunch, and then we went to Stitches Unlimited. Excuse me. So like I said earlier, Anne and I were stitching painted wings together, and she finished hers, so we needed a stitch along, right? So while we were there, she came across this pattern, which I had not seen before, and I had not heard of this designer either. It's called It Is Well by Monticello Stitches, original designs by Jean Workman, and it is this big, beautiful sampler. So we're going to start this together this month. It's all in DMC. She's gorgeous. Such bright colors. I'm on the fence about stitching the border. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet or not. And I think the verse, I think somebody said it's a hymn or a song, or I'm not sure. And I haven't decided if I'm going to keep that or change that yet either. But either way, this is gorgeous. It is pretty big. It's 312 by 268. Also, one thing to note about this pattern, there was a little, I guess, glitch when it was originally printed, and some of the symbols are not within the grid line. So I emailed Jean Workman, and I just said, hey, I bought this, and the print, something's going on with the printing, and she said she was fully aware of it, and she sent me the PDF right away, like the next day. I had it in my hot little hands, so be ready to start this with Anne later this month. So that's really pretty. I also got the 2 donkey samplers by Needlework Press, another market release. I love donkeys. I know there's another donkey pattern hopefully in my future too, so I don't know if you can see that right there. That's a little donkey. I picked up the Sister Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. It says, beside a well, one does not thirst. Beside a sister, one does not despair. And there's 3 sisters up there. And I've got 2 sisters, and I love this. That is so sweet. She's big too, but that's okay. I really want to stitch that. I also grabbed Someday Soon by Shakespeare's Peddler. Pretty. So while we were digging around in the bins at the Lancaster Creative Reuse, I came across a couple of P. Buckley Moss ornament kits that were in there, and I'd never seen them before, and I was looking at the back, and there was 2 on the back that really caught my eye. So when I got home, I went straight to eBay to see if I could find them, and I did. Actually, funny, it's a bundle together, so that was perfect. This is the 1992 ornament. I did not get the kits. I just got the ornaments, so that's a little goose. And this is the 1997 ornament. And that looks like cinders from the other black cat pattern I have by them, and I really would like to do this one too. I've got a couple more of the ornaments on the back here. I don't know if you can see them. So that was a lot of fun. Oh, I also got some more my favorite needles. That was a lot of fun. It was really good to go and just spend that time with my friend who I love so much. So that was great. Let's see, I placed an order with Lindy Stitches. I posted on my Instagram. I placed my order at like something crazy like 9 a.m. and in 11 minutes it had already shipped. Like, that's great. From her, I picked up Pigeon and Puddle by the Blue Flower. I'm still hoping that somebody's gonna restock the thread pack with the Cottage Garden threads, because I would really like to use them and get that kitted up. I got Morning Musings by Lindy Stitches. This is going to be my next Board of Ed stitch that I do when I'm done with the MLK sampler. I did not work on that this month. There was only one board meeting this month, and I was on vacation during that time, so I obviously did not watch that. But this is, not only do I love it and it's beautiful and the saying is perfect, I think the colors are already close to the color palette that I'm going to use, so I love that. I actually went there initially because I wanted to get some 20 count Black Ada. I've got a project I want to start this summer on this fabric. I don't know why that won't focus, but you don't need, it's 20 count Black Ada. The project is Marsh Monster. I've been watching Jessie from Cat Hair Stitchers stitch that, and I want mine to be just like hers. So I got the 20 count Black Ada because that's what she is stitching hers on. And then I also found this 20 count Oatmeal Rustico Ada, and I could have squealed because I love Oatmeal Rustico Ada. I love the look of it, I love the vintage feel of it, and I'd never seen it in 20 count, and I was so stinking excited. And I had an idea for one project to put on here, but I think I've changed my mind. I came across on a Facebook group, and I'm not sure which one, that somebody was charting the Lenox spice houses. I don't know if you're familiar with these. They were little houses for spices. And I have coveted them for a long time, and they have eluded me, and if you can find them, they're incredibly expensive. And they were re-released this past year in 2024, I guess. But I didn't know to pre-order them, and then by the time that I went to buy them, or the ones that I really wanted, because I don't necessarily need a whole set, they were gone already. So anyway, somebody was charting this, and it's by Mary Stitching. This was on Etsy. And so here are all of the little spice houses. So freaking cute. So I think I'm going to pick out my favorite ones of these and stitch it on this 20 count Aida, and I have a space in my kitchen above my window that I think that I could like boop, 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 put these up there. So I think that's really cool, and I'm really excited, and I might actually, I don't know, I might actually start one of these today too. We'll see. Maybe I'm getting too crazy. We'll see. Oh, the other thing that I got from Lindy Stitches was a pack of these pony black needles. I had asked people to tell me what their favorite needles were, and a lot of people suggested these, so I'm gonna give them a try and see if I like them too. Another pattern that I purchased was from Michelle at Cozy Egg Designs. This is a Poet's Heart from her Nocturne collection. It looks like this. I'm currently working on one of her tombstones, the Lilac pattern. So I'm happy to have this in my collection too. I'm just thinking about Michelle. The last thing that I have here, right, yep, is I bought 2 project bags. One of these might be perfect actually for that Poet's Heart. Here's the first one. Almost all of my vinyl fronted project bags come from, I think her name is Melanie Henson. She posts on Stash Unloading, cross stitch only, and I don't like making, I also got these little thread beds. I don't like making vinyl front bags, I don't like working with the vinyl, and she does an amazing job for an amazing price, so I bought this one, and then I bought, oh my god, look at these freaking cats. Bought that one too. How sweet. Again, look at that fabric. Oh, adorable. Alright, I think that is everything. I have a giant mess here to clean up, so that's a pretty good sign that we are going to wrap this up here. Yeah, so congratulations again to the winners. I'm super excited for everybody, and thank you again for entering those giveaways. And if you let me know about your favorite bird, we'll get you entered in for this month's giveaway. I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope everybody's hanging in there the best they can. I hope that everybody's allergies are not kicking their butts, and that you're all doing well. Alright, love you guys.